Hi, my name is Austin Charles Marcel, and welcome to a sneak peek into what my online violin lessons are like. I started teaching violin about 15 years ago, and then later on I did music education for my undergraduate degree, and I did violin performance for my master's. And then I also, in that time, did Suzuki teacher training. In this video, you'll see some of the things I like to focus on with my students, which includes working on learning the names of the parts of the violin and the bow, which you'll see why that's important in a little bit. It also includes learning how to read music, both in terms of reading rhythms and then also identifying note names. In this video, I used flashcards to help one of my students be able to identify the open strings on the violin, which then is really helpful to be able to figure out all the fingered notes in first position on the violin. Last but not least, you'll see me working on posture and technique with another student, and I try to do all of this in an environment or in a way that creates an environment that is positive and encouraging so that my students can, over time, develop a love for music that will help push them to learning new things and continuing to grow and continuing to share that music also with others, to bless others through their music. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
This is the neck. Very good. Okay. What are these, Joshua? Very good. Which string is this?
I think it's A.
You're close. It's not A. It's a little bit higher than A. E. Very good. What's this one?
A.
Good. What's this one?
B.
D and? Did you say C or G?
C.
Okay, you're close as well. It's not C though. It's actually G. G. Yes. So from highest to lowest, it's E, A, D, and G. Okay? Very good. What is this called, Joshua? Screw. Very good. What is this called?
A prop.
Very good. What is this called?
I forgot.
That's okay. This is called the grip. When I see this and when I hear the name, I think of like grip on our shoes as well, because this helps the finger not to slide too much. It also protects the bow stick. Okay?
Where is my grip?
Good question. So some bows have a grip and some don't. Some just have the winding, which is what you have on yours. Even though your winding's different than mine is silver and yours is it's like black and what are they called? Yeah, gold and black. Yeah. So different bows have it differently, but it's still a bow, still a violin bow. What is this called, Joshua?
The bow.
Very good, the bow stick. And what is this called?
The tip.
Excellent. Okay. Now, another question for you. I know that we talked about this before, but why do you think it's important to learn the names of the parts of the violin and bow? Any idea?
So that, like, if somebody asks you, you know the exact name, and like you don't confuse them.
Okay, yeah. Good. So we could also kind of say that, another way of saying it is to say it helps with communication. Yeah? Because it helps us be able to communicate with others about the violin and the bow. For instance, like if let's say you go to the violin shop and then they say, you know, Elizabeth, let's say that there was something going on with your violin. You don't know what's going on, but something's not sounding right or something's not working right. And then let's say you take the violin to the shop and you say, you know, I'm not sure what to do with this. Something's wrong. And then they say, you know, Elizabeth, after looking at it, the pegs are broken. You would know what it means because you know what the pegs are. But if you don't know what the pegs are, then they'd have to show you. I mean, they'll probably still show you anyway. But it helps with communication because then if they say pegs, you already know what it is. If they say, the tailpiece is broken, you already know what it is. If they say, you know, the bridge is starting to break, then you already know what it is. Or if they say, you know, the back of the violin, there's a crack in the back, you also know what that is. Okay? Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Good. Awesome. But how about this measure? Does this look like it'd be tricky or not?
It looks like it will be tricky.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Because what you said?
Because it's like a pattern.
Okay, okay. And what's that pattern? How would we clap this rhythm in that measure?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. Very good. Very good. Okay, I want you to check this measure first so that you know how to do it when we do the whole thing. So now you can go ahead and do the empty measure, and let's hear example 4, please.
Example 4.
So that's what we were just doing from. So we did this measure right here, and this is an example 4.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. Very good, Joshua. Okay, awesome. You were able to do these two measures, which they're both a little bit tricky because of that quarter note, half note, chord note pattern, and you did it very good. Let's do a little quiz. What is this? The penciled in one?
G.
Good. What is this?
E.
Good. What is this?
D.
Good.
A.
The dark one.
E.
Good. The penciled in one.
G.
Good. And last one?
E.
E. Did you say E? Very good. Okay. So, we'll talk about this later, but I wanted to show you these because when you know where the open strings are on the violin, it helps a lot to be able to find all the other notes. Okay?
Okay.
Kind of like how on the piano, when you know where when you know where middle C is, that helps you find other notes as well. Kind of like that on the violin, knowing where open G is, open D, open A, and open E helps you find other notes. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Can I see your bow hold? Okay, let's get the pinky a little bit more curved. And what you can actually do, if you want, put the violin down first, get the really good bow hold, and then put the violin back up. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And then now, I see that your thumb is over here, and these two fingers are back here. See if you can get it where the middle finger is a little closer to the thumb. And the pinky as well, a little closer to the other fingers. Maybe if your hands are slippery, it might be hard. But pinky a little bit closer to the ring finger. So about like this. Let me show you. So about like this. Do you see? So not so far apart. A little bit closer together.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's getting better. That's getting better. And then just bring these fingers down a little bit. So they don't have to be so high up.
Like this?
Yeah, about like that. Yeah. That looks a lot better already.
Like this?
That's pretty good. We can leave it like that. So let's go ahead and rest the bow on the string. Remember that the string is going to hold up the majority of the weight of the bow. And let's hear Mrs. Twinkle Stomp Stomp.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Wait, sorry.
Yes, nice. Okay, let's just make one little modification for that one. At the end, remember it's still gonna be short notes. So it's not gonna be bum bum. Instead, it'll be bum bum bum. Can you try that? Just the end. Yes, good. And you don't have to do more force. It's just that, just don't do so long with the bow. Like this. Look, Elizabeth. So. Did you see how I didn't do a lot of force? It's just that I didn't use as much bow, so. Nice. Good. Okay, now can you do the whole thing, please? Okay, okay. Yes, it's getting a lot better. There's one other thing I should mention too. Just remember to start down. So this time you start up,
Oh, yeah.
and I think the last time you did as well. Just start down. Just drop your elbow a little bit. Just so it doesn't go too high to the D string.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that was better. That was better. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to the next one.